Kristen,
I was trying to get like the ice ASMR thing going on.
let me tell you who's sitting here. What's going on?
Tell
here.
us who's sitting here
Let me tell you
today.
about this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Chef Kyle, folks.
Welcome to the party.
Now, let me tell you how I know
Great
him.
to be here.
Let me tell you how I know him before the chef world. This is only years ago, right?
Oh,
This
God.
is
I
years
don't
ago.
know this.
I used to
Okay.
see the fucking dude everywhere I went. So every bar I went to, every club I went to, every group of people I went to, here comes homeboy. I'm like, what is this guy? He's like,
Slide.
you remember,
Walk around the
remember
corner.
remember in Braveheart when he was laying on a thing and he looked out and he saw his girl going through the crowd like, that's what it reminds me of.
Yes, I
I
remember
seen you
that.
all the time.
That's it.
So then
Circles. It's all about circles.
circles, and then from there is when I realized you were the chef of the truck and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. And then we built a rapport, and you come to my wine dinners, and now we talk to each other on a great level.
Yeah.
So we were cool before we even knew we were fucking cool.
Yep,
That's
yeah,
right.
That's the
I
best
can
part
see
of it.
this.
That's
All right.
that's the attraction
I can
100%.
see
of
this.
this shit. You know what I'm saying?
I think that gets lost. People forget that chefs are just people.
Well, it gets lost among chefs too because a lot of the chefs nowadays are in it for the wrong reasons or maybe the different reasons, and they came in a different. You can tell how each chef came into the industry
Yeah.
by how they attract to each other.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I know there's a lot of chefs out there that I don't have an attraction to whatsoever, man. I'm
you are
like,
not my
dude, you can
people.
go over there. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
my peeps.
Not
right?
your people at all.
So
So who is this? We have
You
to
tell
let you
us,
introduce
man. Tell
yourself.
us what you got.
who you are. We've gotten this far in.
tell America.
Chef Kyle, folks. I'm the owner and operator of Satè, a New American Experience, as well as Satè Kitchen, which is my food truck. It's been a crazy ride to get to this point, but it's freaking awesome. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary for the restaurant next
Congratulations.
month, and I couldn't be more proud of the team and all the success that we've had.
Yeah, and already been great accolades. You've already won awards.
Crazy, right?
Yeah,
So
amazing.
Coastal Virginia Magazine's Best New Restaurant of 2024.
Yep.
This motherfucker right here beat me out for Best Chef in Coastal Virginia this
Don't worry
year.
about that. It's
I
okay.
beat him last year. That's okay.
It's all right. We got you.
Let's put that on. Make sure that's
That's
on
okay.
camera.
Check. Got
But
it.
no, it's awesome, man. We're rolling. Things are good. And I'm just happy to be here and be a part of the show and get to kind of chop it up with my brother here.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I brought you guys a couple gifts, man.
Oh,
we got
shit,
presents.
okay.
We got some
we're
new
starting-
Satè
it's the
merch.
first
Oh,
time.
merch.
I know how to butter
merch.
people
This
up.
is,
I love it.
This is the
Satè
first time we've
merch,
gotten
you
merched
know?
out on a
Oh,
show.
yeah.
This is freaking
Ounce.
awesome.
Look at that.
Brand new,
Beautiful.
just dropped this week. So
All
you
right,
guys
check
are,
that out.
You guys
Plug.
are first of a kind.
Plug life.
That's it, baby.
I love it. So check this out, man. You have the story, right? You got the story of you started out back in the day. We'll get to that. So bring us up to date a little bit on how you got into it, where you went, quick rundown, quick history, and then get to the truck thing you just mentioned.
100%. So graduated Johnson & Wales University in 2003.
Great school. My father came here in 1970 something, and he went to that school from Italy.
Excellent.
Yep.
And I tell people all the time, school is only what you make it. I've seen a lot of great folks that go to culinary school and they come out and they're just a shell of themselves. They don't really have any direction. Yeah. They're just as lost as they were before they
were
get in
hoping
there.
for a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not what school's about. If you're willing to grind and put in the work and the effort, then schooling is awesome. Right. And so graduated that. First real job as a sous chef was at the Embassy Suites Hotel in Hampton, Virginia.
Oh, wow.
It's attached to the Hampton Roads Convention Center.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, I became the executive chef. So that was in 2008. And at that time, I was the youngest executive chef that our company had. John Q. Hammond's Hotels was the company. We had 84 hotels, all different brands across the
Were
country.
you exec of all locations?
Nope,
the
just
corporate?
that
Yours,
location.
but yeah.
Okay.
But I was a part of this corporate core group that we
Sure.
would meet twice a year. We'd go to the Chicago Food Show, things of that
Sure.
nature.
Great show.
And we would make decisions for the rest of the brand.
Gotcha.
So there was an Embassy Suites guy, a Hilton guy, whatever other hotels we had. And we would get together, link up, go to all these shows, and kind of make decisions. Talk about buying power. We're into a hotel that big. There's thousands of French fries, right? Hotel, we're not cutting our own fries. So they'd make us try 50 types of French fries.
Sure.
And then us little 6 or 8 guys would say, this is the fry we're going to use across the board.
Sure.
And then the sales rep will say, okay, we'll give you all this buying power.
Right.
Now the case is $15. Everyone wants to pay
Wow.
$40 and things of that nature.
Buying power is huge, man. In this
100%. And we did some numbers there. My last year, we did $7 million in food and beverage, which
Wow.
is rocking the world. But we had the ability to do catering for 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. And I really tried to pride myself on not being a typical hotel restaurant, right? We had a restaurant, we had a catering facility. I never wanted to be, oh, that's a hotel. It's not going to have good food, right? Because we hear that all the time in the industry. So we kind of wanted to set ourselves above. And so literally the same kind of food that I'm cooking now at the restaurant is what we had at that hotel. But because it was a hotel, a lot of people didn't really know about us. I did a lot of stuff to help us out. I would go on TV and the Hampton Road Show and enter these competitions, anything I could to shed some positive light on the hotel.
You have to do that. You got to brand what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you believe in it and you really strongly believe in it, you have to take the chances and take the risks to do it.
100%.
And no one's going to see what's coming out of your pan if they're not on the other side of the table to eat it.
Yeah.
And they need to know what you're about, man. And I'm a full believer of that.
Yeah.
So when you went from there, you went to that, and then what happened? That dreaded fucking word came along.
So then COVID.
Hey,
dun, dun, dun.
Let's hear it again for the millionth time in the fucking life.
And COVID came, and obviously for the hotel people, that put our industry in the toilet. You know, you couldn't even meet with more than 10 people. Well, our model was doing dinners for 500, 1,000. So that was all out of the question. So my entire team got furloughed. The hotel kept me on as long as they can. I was actually in the laundry room, man. I was folding towels and cleaning rooms. I'm like, I'm a chef, man. What the fuck am I doing, here in the laundry department? But surviving, literally. So we had about 150 employees at that hotel, and during that little bleak era there, we ran it with 12 people.
Wow.
And I was one of those 12. I made it as far as I could, and then they're like, Chef, we just can't afford to pay your salary anymore. Like, that's the honest truth.
That's bottom line.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like everybody. This is the Great Depression,
wasn't
baby.
about you.
Get your ass on the street, ho.
So I went home and hung out for a couple months, and then the wheels started turning. Okay, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Because I can't survive off of this, $600 a week or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Life is crazy. Like, you get to a certain stature, right? And then that's the kind of your life, right? So when you don't have anything, you're appreciative of that. And then you get a little bit more, you're like, oh, I like where I'm at. Then you get a little bit more, oh, I really like where I'm at.
Going backwards is never part of the plan.
They're never part of the plan.
No, going backwards is not part of the plan. We fight daily to not go backwards, man.
So I kind of just had to say, all right, what am I going to do? And I said, how about a food truck? So for years, I had been really apprehensive on becoming an entrepreneur. I knew the kind of commitment it was going to take. I knew how much work it was going to take. And I had a really good thing going at that hotel.
And this is where I want to stop you for 1 second, because this goes back to where I said you have the unique story.
Yeah.
This is a guy who had to go down. You need to come up. Here comes the food truck. This food truck craze has been nuts since COVID.
Yes.
It just started getting a little bit before then, but nothing like it was at COVID. COVID was where it really had an opportunity to pop.
Yeah.
So you took advantage of that, right?
Yep.
Tell me about the food truck life, man, because I wonder how much food you have to sell out of a fucking truck to be relevant enough to pay your bills and be happy about it.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot, right?
The food truck grind, all seriousness, is like no other. I've been a chef my entire life, and the food truck the last 3 years was the hardest I ever had to work.
So meaning you got to load the fucker up, getting the propane right,
Yes.
making sure now you got to plug it in to keep your stuff, your prep every day. That's my concern.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Hold on, the permits.
I was saying, you started in the middle of the story.
That was
Yeah.
the permits.
And the inspections and signing off, and am I
I
good
just
to
did
go?
all that for my
And
catering truck,
Yeah.
bro.
It's
You
a
got
bullshit.
screwed on
nightmare.
that.
They
nightmare.
don't make it easy at all.
And
for
each
you
city
on a
wants
food
their own
truck.
permit,
gotta
their own
pay.
fire code, and everything else.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
It's a nightmare,
Yeah.
man. And
Did you ever want to let the thing on fire and just ghost ride that fucker down the interstate?
you know how many times I thought about going back to the hotel business as soon
You're
as
like, I'll
COVID
go
was
back
over?
to
Like,
the
I need to go back to
hotel.
the hotel.
It's
though.
fine.
This is awful.
Oh my god.
But
Just the conditions that it's never clean enough. You can never get it's just so much happening in such a small spot.
listen, if it's 95 degrees outside,
Forget it.
it's 120
At
in the
least.
food truck.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Okay. And then somehow I don't even know how this works, but we would do our biggest client, the Newport shipyard, right? So we'd go there, do lunch every day, and we'd do breakfast as well. Breakfast on the water. It's 25 degrees outside. I'd have on 4 hoodies, mittens,
Oh my
3
gosh.
pairs of socks, boots.
And you're not
a
cooking fast
jacket.
enough.
Yeah, and the line is just backed up, and it
Oh
was
my
crazy.
gosh.
But that's what I had
That's
to do
crazy.
to kind of like make this dream, or at that time a nightmare.
Yeah.
But chef, it made
a
you.
reality.
But it was your step.
It made you another step to making you where you are.
Absolutely.
That's a struggle you're never going to want to go back to. So you're
Correct.
going to work harder for it, right?
Yeah.
100%.
So we all have
Yeah.
that story. So the food truck really was the inspiration for you to motivate yourself to get on to your next adventure, which is where
Look,
you are now.
6 months into that food truck, all I could think about was how the hell am I going to get off this fucking food truck? It was that miserable. Like, if your day starts at 4 a.m. to do breakfast at the shipyard, and then you have lunch, and then you do dinner at a brewery, and then you don't get home until 10 or 11 o'clock at
Yeah,
night.
it's brutal.
Like,
Sounds like me here.
that, like, it's like I got to get out of this truck. And so at that point, it was everything I could do, how much blood, sweat, tears, energy I could put into it to get to the restaurant piece. And I
Yeah.
kind of put myself a plan together. I said, I'm going to get this done in 3 years. And literally, we nailed it in 3 years. I started my food truck September of 2020. I signed the lease on my brick and mortar the end of August 2023. So
Wow.
3 years.
So,
You did it.
so you got through COVID on the food truck, basically. You started it in COVID. It amped you up to get something going on.
100%.
So without that COVID, which I'm going to talk about that for a brief moment,
Yeah.
because everyone talks about COVID on the other way of how it fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't be where I am. COVID was fucking great to me. I fucking had no problems with COVID. We had a little bit of this organization and not understanding what was going on because it was new to everybody.
Yeah.
But if you were, all this COVID did to me in the restaurant industry was fucking thinned out the herd. It weeded out the people who weren't supposed to be there and the ones that were sucking off the environment anyway.
Yeah.
Because once COVID came around, you were either an organized restaurateur and chef,
Yep.
or you were fucking not. And that was what proved it.
True.
And
Very
anyone
true.
who didn't
Yeah.
make it through it is only because they didn't have their proper shit together.
I agree.
They didn't have their invoices right. They didn't have their employees right. They didn't have their taxes right. They didn't have anything right.
Yeah.
So with that being done like that, man, people who didn't get out of COVID are the ones who were saying, COVID ruined me. It wasn't a fun time, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not fucking sitting there saying it was great.
No.
But if it wasn't for COVID, you wouldn't be where you are.
Nope.
You might still be in the hotel. If it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be where I am because the government did come back if you had your shit right and helped you out. Granted, I'm still paying on them fucking taxes and shit and everything. Nothing's free, and I'm getting my ass kicked there.
Yeah.
However, I wouldn't be having anything to pay back, though, if I didn't have it. So it is what it is. You got to play the fucking game. And right now, I am able to purchase some of the best prime meats, the best Wagyus. I can make the best foods and everything right now because all the other people aren't buying it because they don't fucking exist anymore because they weren't even supposed to be here in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And I don't want no demise on anybody. So anybody who's in the game strong right now, they got my back.
There you go.
They got my support. You know what I'm saying? I got their
Yeah.
back. And if you don't belong here, if you didn't belong here, it's obvious, man. COVID was the cleaner. It was the eraser, man. You know what I'm saying? If you made it through COVID, you got it.
You knew what you were
like
doing.
Frank said, if you can make it there, you can make it
anywhere.
anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm feeling about
I
COVID.
love it.
You know what I'm saying? All I did when COVID was I just fucking worked my ass off still with a line of cars down the street. And I was literally
You
cooking
were
in a wife beater.
Churning food. Yeah, we would drive from Chesapeake to Norfolk to go pick up to-go food at least
Yeah,
once a week to
I had
support him.
full
Like we
reservations.
supported our friends during COVID,
That's
and I think we
awesome.
saw community come together too quite a bit.
Absolutely. So I had reservations 3 days in advance, full booked on COVID for cars coming and going to pick up on their pickup times. And we
Yeah.
were
I
just
love
me
that.
and two guys that I worked for that were just stuck by my side. We were in there fucking just getting it. They're still
Yeah,
working
you
for me
guys-
today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're still rocking and rolling down there in Norfolk. They're still doing their thing.
I just don't want people to get the wrong impression. Like, I get asked all the time because they see me like, "Oh man, you were so successful with the food truck." It comes with a lot of work.
Yes, it does.
And so if people think that, oh, I can just start a food truck and I'll make it, no. It took all those years I had of experience cooking for 3,000 people and organizing the kitchen properly
Sure.
to be able to say, okay, now let's minimize it to
Little
a
10
7 by
by-
16 foot box.
Space.
Let's put these anchovies in a can.
And let's rock and roll. You know, at our best, we can do about 130 to 140 people in 90 minutes. So at the
food
shipyard,
truck.
we're
Okay.
fucking rolling.
You're rolling.
We have
That's a
45-second ticket time.
Yeah, that's
a
crazy.
lot.
Credit card, what do you want? Credit card, swipe it, give you your card back, hand
Here's
you
your
your
food.
sandwich, out the
That's
door.
crazy.
Who's next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
That's rolling.
Yeah,
and
that is.
People are like, well, how is he able to do that? Well, tons and tons of experience.
And tons
be
of
able to-
work.
And preparation.
hard
Gritting,
work.
grinding,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And not only that, let's not forget the most important part of it all. You still have to have a passion for food.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
that food right there will kick your ass. If you let it, it'll fuck you up.
If I didn't love what I did, there's no way I would still be
There's
here.
none. There's
but
no
I
way.
love
bro.
it. I love
You
cooking.
can't. You break down mentally.
Yeah.
If the only thing that keeps me going sometimes during a rush, when we're going balls to the wall and shit just keeps on coming in, and you know the ticket times are backing up, the only thing I keep going is just slow down and put it out right. If they're gonna fucking wait, let them wait for a good fucking meal.
Bingo.
At least let them wait. So.
Bingo.
So it's a matter of how much passion do you have for what you're doing, or how much passion do you have for the money you're making. The money's not always going to be there, bro. The
Correct.
food has to be, because you always got to rely on the food to be right. You know what I mean? If you do the food right, the money will come, man. Stop worrying about fucking money.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And the money, the awards, all that shit, it's all perks of hard work. No one's paying for this shit anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't agree more.
There's no one walking in. So when you get to now you open up your new restaurant, which is a huge thing because you took that risk. You left. You obviously had investors who believed in you, or a investor who believed in you.
Yeah.
You had a position or a situation, and you're out there in Newport News.
Yeah, Newport
Right.
News City Center.
City Center. So you came into an area that is already kind of known with restaurants that already had their anchor there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a risk in itself to be the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
Right. But you're hanging tough.
You got to believe
See
in
the
your
reference
product.
there? See what I did there?
Yeah.
I like that.
I like
You like that?
You got to
yeah.
believe in your product, though.
Oh,
You know, I always tell people that if we're going to do like a little competition or whatever it is, it's like, guys, look, we may not win, but do you believe in your product? Did you feel like you put out the best dish that you could today? And if the answer is yes, then you have nothing to hang your head on. Like, hey, you did what you thought was good. You stood by your product. You're proud of that dish. That's all you can ask for.
That's all that matters, right? So
And that's what I did.
the awards that come, typically you don't see them coming. Typically, there's something that just hits you in the head, and you're like, "Holy shit, that just happened!"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when I just won that award for the Chef of the Year for in Richmond. That was one of the best accolades
Yeah, it
in
was like a
state, man.
surprise.
Phenomenal,
I
actually.
Total
I had
surprise.
no
Phenomenal.
idea.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
He's
Thank
like,
you.
oh,
I
I'm
had-
nominated? Oh, okay.
I had no idea. So that just came from nothing more than my team and myself just constantly fucking grinding.
Yeah.
And I accept it and they accept it. We accept it, you know. It's part of what you're doing, because if you don't focus on it, it's when it's going to come faster.
Yeah.
If you focus on that's the only thing you're trying to do all the time, you're going to fail.
Oh, yeah.
Mentally, you're going to fail because it's not about that. There's only one award, but there's a million things to do. You
Yeah.
got to focus on one out of all that, or just all the rest of the million. You know, that's where we're at with it. So, did you have any struggles opening your restaurant, your new one, coming from the food truck? Then you had to slow down to get into the truck, like you said, you condensed. Then you have to get out of that fucking mindset to expand.
Yeah.
Now you're given a budget. You're given a investors.
How'd that budget go? How close were
Yo,
you to the budget?
Yeah, we were a little over that budget, man. We were a little over
You
that
always
budget.
are, bro.
We always
because
set the budget, and then they're like 30%. Just add it on there. It's
you
okay.
can't look at a plate and think that's the one I'm going with. There's
Yeah.
one next to it that's better.
Always.
And we can just squeeze it out of the budget, right?
Yeah,
And as
we
long
can
as
get
that
that
budget
plate.
keeps coming, you're good. But regardless, you're doing great now. So give me an idea of what is your typical day like as a chef now that you're in it. You're a year into it coming up, which I won't be able to be at that party, which I'm really bummed about. I think me and her are going to be at the World Food Championships in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So I'll be a master
miss
judge
you.
for that.
We'll miss you.
I'm going to miss it too. I really want to be there. But your first year, how you feeling about it, man? What are the strongest points? What do you need to work on? What do you think what's going on there?
Yeah.
So I think those first few months of having the restaurant was more about getting everybody to kind of buy in on what we're actually doing here, what the culture is. We did a good job of establishing that from the very beginning in the hiring process. I was looking for particular people, not just the best cooks, because I feel like I can train someone to be a good cook.
In your kitchen, you should be the best cook.
Exactly.
So there you go.
So I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for someone who's moldable, who's passionate about food, things of that nature. And I think we did a good job. But in any new business, you're going to have some hiring that doesn't necessarily pan out. So after the first 3 months, we sort of kind of fell into a rhythm. The staff really stabilized. And I'm really proud of that. Our front of the house team does an incredible job. They really make my life easier because that's not my strength, right? My strength is in the back of the house. And so to have people on the front of the house team that I can trust and I can believe in, and I know that they're always going to put what I believe is right first, which is taking care of the customer. That to me is the ultimate goal, you know. I think we're always in good hands. If I say something that I kind of am glad that we've made happen is just our consistency and our repeat guests. Right now, we have about 50 to 60 guests that we're seeing every week.
That's great.
Same ones.
Yep.
And then we probably have about 24 guests or so that we're seeing multiple times a week, 2-3 times.
Oh, wow. That's
And
great.
to me, that is awesome.
That's a testament
amazing.
of what,
That's
what
the
you're
biggest
putting out there.
compliment.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's a pure testament of what you're doing. So when these people come in, right, I always praise the front of the house. To me, the cooking is the passion. It's the heartbeat. The kitchen is the heartbeat of the restaurant. We get it, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of the body is out there, and nobody sees what's in the back of the house until
Yeah.
they walk through the front first.
Mm-hmm.
And once they walk through that front door, and the front of the house is so important and so crucial that they represent or misrepresent your fucking passion like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
They
that.
can.
They could
Yeah.
fuck up your damn second like that, man. And if we're in the back putting in all this work and effort into making perfect food, but yet they're not getting the right service from the get-go, or they didn't get the right vibe, or someone sent them down the wrong path of energy, you know what I'm saying? It automatically comes down on the food.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Even if they have a bad review on most of these Yelp things and all that shit, you're going to see it's going to be a thing that says, the waitress didn't greet me right. We sat there with our water cup empty, and the food was okay.
Right.
If there was the other way around, it would have been the food was
great.
great.
Food would have been great.
They got my water full every time. So they always are going to attack the food, even if it was good, just based off what the front says.
Yeah.
You don't ever see a thing that says the service was great, but that food was fucking garbage. It's
Right.
very rare. You do see that sometimes. But it's kind of odd. Usually the fucking fault comes from the front. The front of the house is so important. And to put the trust that you do into the front of the house is another huge risk.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what they're doing because you're cooking. So hopefully everything's going the way it's supposed to.
So I'm a really big believer in, I'll go to a restaurant that has outstanding service and mediocre food before I ever go to a restaurant with great food and lousy service. Because
Yeah.
I don't really, unless I'm coming to Luce,
Well, yeah.
I don't
Well-
I don't have the
If you don't get both at the same time, you got
then
let
he's
me
gonna
know.
be pissed.
Throw me a bone.
I don't have this thing where I feel like I'm gonna go and get blown away by the food, because I always believe in my skill and my ability, right?
Sure.
So I'm never going in thinking, oh, this food's gonna wow me.
Yeah.
You know, so but I am going in and I'm paying attention to the
You want a
service.
quality
How
meal.
is this service gonna
Sure.
be delivered?
Like Hooters. Yeah. You ain't going there for the wings most of the time. It's all right.
You're not going in there for the
No,
wings.
it's okay.
And so I'm just really big into that, and I stress that to my team weekly. Hey guys, we got to make sure we're not dropping the ball up here.
Yeah.
It's important. Yeah,
No, it
it's a fucking it coincides, bro. It's very important that people understand that. So,
Yeah.
do you have any future? Like, it's hard to see the future, right?
is.
So you're stepping into now. I know you're picking up a lot of more big caterings and things like that, because that's kind of where we're going. Now that's getting back into your original. So you have a play on that because of your hotel days, right?
Exactly. So I'm very comfortable in that element, you know, doing catering for large groups. You know, we'd have this one crazy December Saturday every year, never failed, Christmas parties galore, right? And we would have 14 or 15 parties. The smallest was 150 people. The largest was 1,000. And out of the 15 parties, we'd have 12 menus. And I'd be cussing out the sales team for selling all those different menus.
Oh yeah, you want to fight them all, fist fight them right to the fucking face.
But I'm very
burn you.
comfortable in that. Like, it would end up being like me and the 2 dishwashers putting out the last party, because all the other cooks were doing action stations in other rooms and all this stuff. Like, we had
Oh my
endless space
gosh.
at that convention center. So I'm really looking forward, and I'm excited about these new catering opportunities. We've really been pushing that.
That's cool.
You know, doing some catering for the Virginia Living Museum, for Ferguson. We're getting ready to do our 4th wedding coming up.
And those
the
are some good
catering is my
venues. Those are good
Yeah,
events,
they
man.
are
So
very
you're
good
gonna you do it right.
Yeah.
You're gonna draw people into that brick and mortar.
We have
Yeah.
Hampton University's largest donor event coming up. It's on site during their homecoming weekend. The president
Oh, that's
asked for
gonna
me
be crazy.
specifically. And so we're just going to go out there and do what we do.
Congratulations.
That's
That's
good work,
amazing.
man. Good
yeah,
fucking
that's
work,
really
dude.
good.
I love it. You're representing Hampton Roads right. You're helping out the community. It's hard being a chef these days, man, trying
Yeah.
to rebuild that chef communal experience that we used to have.
Yeah.
Even back in the day when I used to cook in other spots in other cities, there would still be we'd either have a really healthy competition, but we'd always have each other's back.
Yes.
And I'm starting to see now that if I have anything to do with it, I'm trying to get more community going again with the chefs and getting things together and putting things together. And instead of me saying, don't go to that dude's fucking restaurant, come to mine, say, no, go to his.
Go.
Yeah.
Next week, come to mine.
Yeah.
I want that, because without variety, how am I going to be better than you if they don't have nothing to go to?
Dude, you don't even know
How am I,
this.
how am I going to show you up if I can't go? If they don't know
They don't
your,
exist.
if they don't go to your stuff?
The number of people that I have sent here is astronomical. I have a list in my notes section, right?
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
It's all what I believe are the best restaurants in the 757.
Well, you're on mine. I have it out there for sure.
And I send
Now I need
people
this list.
all the time. It's like, you got to go see Tony, man.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
But it's all love. And
I don't have to tell you that. I've been doing that for 4 years. I never told you that.
I know.
But
I know. Same here.
That's what
and
I
you don't
believe
come in here
in.
expecting shit either.
No.
So it's not like,
No.
So I don't know you as like in the kitchen, your personality type. Now,
Yes.
Chef has told me that you are out and about a lot. Like he would see you on the scene in a lot of
He's a pimp.
places. Are you?
Chef Kyle
are
is
you,
a little bit
Pimp.
different
So
than...
yeah,
Tired of
versus
this
like
shit.
how are you like how
Pimping
do you
on my
balance
game everywhere
that?
we go.
And how are you in the kitchen? Are you that social in your restaurant? Like how does that go?
Yeah, well, I think touching tables is important to me.
Yeah.
And the feedback that I've gotten from my guests is that it's important to them.
Yeah.
Now, there is a little bit of a blurred line where I feel like sometimes people come in and now that is the expectation. We've actually had some negative reviews written because I didn't go to their table.
This isn't a joke.
Like-
Many years ago, I had to put a thing up where there was, and I'm not, this is truth. This is just the way it was. There was a time that
This
so
is
many
in
people
Norfolk,
wanted,
right?
in Norfolk,
Yeah.
so many people wanted to come inside and take a picture with me that I had to literally stop doing that between certain hours and tell the guests I can't stop cooking.
Yeah.
Because
No
the
photos.
kitchen is part of the dining room. So
Yeah.
people would just walk up, can we get a picture with you? Can we get a picture? I
like
can't
in the
stop
middle.
cooking.
Yeah.
So at first it was really fun and it was nice, but then I started burning shit. Ticket time started getting fucked up. And once you come up and take one, now the next person. And I get it. I'm honored, man. I am totally honored and I don't understand it. I'm just a fucking cook.
Right.
But I understand that it says it right on your fucking hat, man.
Yeah.
An American experience. And sometimes we forget that this is an experience to them people. So what's so
Yeah.
convenient for me to just say, no, I'm going to keep cooking is a night out on them that they're determined to be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's one of their levels of entertainment. They want to post that they were there. They want to post that they were there with the chef, me and
Yeah.
you. And I can understand it because I've been to restaurants. I go to French Laundry and Thomas Keller walks through. I want to take a picture with him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Okay. The man's a fucking culinary genius. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I? Right? He's almost he's ascended to a level that I could only imagine.
Yeah.
being. So, and he's just a little example. I'm talking about local people like that. If I go to your restaurant, I want a picture with you, just because we're in the same struggle, and I want people to see we support each other. And I want to be able to look at it one day and go, look at that
Yeah.
20 years ago. That motherfucker didn't even have gray hair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now
It's
look
coming
at
in now.
You got
20
to
minutes.
get
Yeah, it's
started. Welcome.
20
Welcome
minutes.
to our
The stress of
world.
this
Welcome to
restaurant.
our
20
world.
days later, he's got gray hair.
Yeah.
So, but that's
It's like the presidency. It just happens real quick.
I'm saying, man, you get handicapped, you don't even fucking realize you can't walk no more. You need a hip replacement. So, how does coming up in this, the party life? So, I'm all about the party life.
Sure.
I'm all about the party life forming and molding this industry. Because this right here is an extension of everybody else's party.
Yeah.
So everybody's coming in here, and whatever level you're partying at is irrelevant. It's still an extension of someone else's party. So at some point in time, we become victim of that party because we are entertaining them in the party, and then it becomes our party after.
Yep.
So really in the long term of things, we've been partying since fucking 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if you think about it, because
Right.
we've been working on someone's party.
Yeah.
Right. The name of our customers that come in is a party of one, a party of two. It's ingrained. It's drained in us. But what do you do as far as when you have as we get older in age, you still find yourself in that zone, or you backed out of that?
No, I think it's just phases of life, right? So 15 years ago, that's really what I wanted to do, and obviously I was always working my ass off because that's always been the number one priority. Yeah. But the moment I had a second of free time, I was leaving the peninsula and I was coming over here. And I think just as you get older and priorities shift, you realize that, well, it sort of is the same thing that I've been doing. Like, I could pretty much tell you who's going to be there, how many they're going to have, you know the deal. And so I think when I went into this restaurant piece, most of that kind of subsided just because I couldn't do both. I couldn't be all in on making the restaurant the best that it could be and still trying to have like a personal life. Now we're 11 months in, and so I wouldn't say the foot is off the gas, but now at least there's some opportunities, So a buddy of mine, he turned 50 this weekend, and so I was able to go and celebrate with him. Just some milestones like that. That in the previous 2 years, I would have been like, I can't do it.
You can't do it. Yeah. So I look back at the way I used to do this madness, and I look back on what I used to do, and didn't realize that I was in the kitchen so much that it wasn't even work; it was life. So I was partying at work.
Right.
Yeah.
What you would consider work.
Yeah.
I was partying in the place I'm employed because it was my life.
Yeah.
So we'd go through a phase of coming in hungover, get lit up, whatever, however you had to do that, then get drinking while we're working. Because we had to catch a buzz before we get out, because by then all the people
everyone's already caught up.
They're already drunk.
You're trying to catch up to them.
Yeah. So there's been times I've been so drunk. My sous chef now, man, we used to get so fucking drunk together working back in the day. There was a couple times we were on the floor, I couldn't move, laughing, drunk, just wondering what the fuck am I doing here? Room is spinning. I'm holding on to the thing, and I'm cooking people food.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine doing that at this point in time, right? But luckily there was someone else paying the bills at the restaurant. Someone else
it wasn't your
me.
restaurant at the time.
It wasn't mine. Totally different story. But even just waking up like that, I couldn't even imagine now
how you'd feel. It'd take
what it would do to my palate.
Yeah. That's a wreck.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'll smash my shots of Jaeger, my tequila and shit while I'm cooking still. I like doing that. But to get to a point where I'm buzzing or drunk, couldn't even imagine that while I'm working and cooking and being responsible for other people's entertainment and time and money. You know what I mean? They trust us to do it. But holy shit, I encourage anyone coming through to just get fucking crazy while you can. You know what I mean?
While you can.
Unless you're on my clock. Don't do that in my kitchen. But when I'm gonna call you guys and tell them, get fucked up tonight.
You do one shot. That's all right.
Hey, I'm gonna send you guys. I'm gonna send you guys sneak shots through the back.
Oh,
watch
Lord.
it go down. Watch the ship sink. No,
please don't do that.
Nah.
It is a fun experiment, though.
I bet.
It's okay.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, but man, we have some good times.
We made it through.
I have no idea.
I really don't know.
You used to get fucking right too when you were working.
God, it was fucking terrible. I don't even know. I don't know how we did it. Most nights, there were nights where you were like, because I was at the Block back in the day, so I don't know where you were at that time, 99, 2000s. And we were there 5 nights a week. The other 2 nights we weren't there, we were there drinking. So we were there 7 nights a week.
7 nights a week.
Till 3, 4 in the morning. I had a day job, so I was still working Monday through Friday and would be right back at the bar at 5 p.m., working and drinking all night. There was whipped cream involved. There was a lot of things that happened at the edge that people don't need to know about.
Wake up and more whipped cream stuck to your hair and your face and shit.
Yeah, and you're like, thank God we didn't
In
have a
99,
camera.
I was like a bar Norfolk guy.
That was another problem. That's a whole other problem.
I was down at time.
At the end of the night, we would go
okay.
down to the Block or wherever we would go. Everybody would get fucked up there. And then my sous chef now, Andrea, his mother owned the restaurant we worked at. We would go back. Without her knowing, we would go back, open up the kitchen restaurant, invite people from the bar.
Oh my goodness.
Until 5, 6 in the morning when the baker would show up. There would be fucking, it was a nonsense.
Plates of Italian food.
Just plates of everything.
How are you here now?
Don't worry about that. Listen, you're asking a lot of questions.
You're like, really?
We do the answering around here. We do the questions. How am I here now? I don't know, bro. That's the funny thing. That's the whole point. How am I here now? Exactly. You get your wake-up calls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get your wake-up calls. You get your ups and downs. You get your quick realizations.
You had that.
And there's not many cooks or kitchen people who can come through my kitchen with an excuse or a fucking story or a reason why they were late. You can't fool me, Jack.
Yeah.
No,
because
we
I've
don't.
Been there.
Well, it's
Done
like your
all that.
kids.
Yeah, you
like your
can't-
kids. You're not going to sneak out because I've done every play
You
in the
can't,
book.
right,
There is
you can't do
nothing
it.
you can get past me.
Yeah.
And my kids know that, so I'm pretty good about that.
Yeah, I
Ronnie
mean,
knows.
typically
She
when
knows.
someone has COVID 15 times in a
Yeah,
fall
it's
season,
not-
there's probably
no.
a time to go get a friggin', bring a
Do
radiation.
you
or
ever
something.
get the COVID Google search pick? They're like,
Yeah.
I do have COVID.
Yeah,
So,
back
I
in the
mean,
day.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a,
Back
it's
a couple years ago.
pixelated.
Yeah, that's the same pick they've had on the internet for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
come on, man.
But no, it is. But this industry
It's someone
teaches
else's
you a lot.
hand.
Yeah.
It's a woman's hand with fingernails and shit. That's my nurse. That's my nurse. So coming up, man, I know you have some advice for people. Let's talk about that. I mean, we could sit here all day and chop up all these stories, and I love doing that, man.
Yeah.
But the point of the show to me is to really get back into the environment of the restaurants, man. To bring it back to life, to bring the glory of it, to make people proud of it. There's so much people talking. You go online, people talking about how we don't pay people. No, we don't all not pay people.
Right.
Some people don't pay people, and they're typically not around long.
Mm-hmm.
This industry is fucking great. It's a great building block for people. It's a great building block for people's lives, whether they stay in it or not. I think there was a time in a long time, decades went by, where everyone that was anyone that had a job started as a
in the
busboy,
restaurant.
a wait staff, or something.
Yep,
And
So-
the industry's huge, and it should be celebrated.
So one of the things I'm most proud of this year, we had a busser. He was the valedictorian of Denby High School in Newport News this past year. And for the whole year, as he was the valedictorian, then through graduation, he was working for me as a busser. And just getting to know him, and this super smart kid, he's pre-med at UVA, got a full ride. And every now and then I say, look at you, man. All those brains, and now you're here busting this person's
tables.
fucking table.
Yep.
But it means something. It taught that young man something.
Humility.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think it's missing these days. Like, starting from something and having to deal with the customers and hospitality and what it means.
Empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
All that shit. Starting on the fucking, you can't climb a ladder if you let's start on the first step, man.
Yeah.
And that's the first step to reality is yes, you too can bust someone else's fucking table
Right.
just like that.
Yeah.
You could be a doctor one day, and maybe one day you may have to go bust a table. You don't know what the fuck happens.
What's to
man.
say? I mean, everyone should work in restaurants or retail.
Retail.
At some point in their
Absolutely.
life, everyone should do it because it just teaches you. I mean, my daughter works here.
Okay.
And she's going to be a doctor.
There you go.
And so this is her, but this is where she will get the chops.
Dude, this
to
is
deal
real
with
fucking work.
anything in life.
Yeah.
Like, and I
And-
wouldn't have had my jobs if I didn't. The restaurants, I literally went from being a bartender to being a news anchor.
Mm-hmm.
That happened because one of my bar customers sat there and said, wow, you can talk a lot without messing up. I think you'd be good on television. I was like, go fuck yourself, because I have a fear of public speaking. I will never do TV. I did
And look
TV
at
for
you.
18 years
Yep. Ta-da.
because of being a bartender.
Yeah.
And that was because I was professional.
Yep.
I was well-spoken. I showed up. I worked hard. And that leads to so many opportunities that I don't think people realize the amount of opportunity this business presents, because we all like to eat, we all like to drink, we all like to have community.
Yeah.
So this is literally the only thing everyone can share in this world is the joy of food and being a part of it. So it has been the biggest conduit for, I think, like all the success I've had in my life. It's crazy.
Me too, obviously. So
I
it's,
love the hospitality industry.
when
Yeah.
people walk through the door, you don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
They all come in with they have a whole different reason for being alive. Everybody has a different reason for coming in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason is to eat, but they're all coming in with different avenues that
Yeah.
they've come in on.
Yeah.
And you never know who the hell you're talking to. You never know what the fuck's going on. And we have the biggest
Mm-hmm.
open door to that, where the opportunity is
it is.
endless, man. It's just crazy. So I'm all for the restaurant industry. I'm all about it. Appreciate you being here.
For sure.
We're going to do some more stuff in the future soon. I want to
Yes.
come check you out there. Matter of fact, me and her are going to start doing a little bit of restaurant type of reviews.
I love it.
We're going to
and,
do a tour.
We're going to do a tour. We're going to call it the
Touring.
tour, not so much a review, but a tour, just
Yeah.
to show people what's up out there.
Yeah.
We're going to have a different twist on them. We'll show it when it's time, but maybe you'll be the first one we stop at, man. That'd
I
something we
better
could
be
do.
the first one you'll
tell,
stop
at.
and tell everybody where they can find the restaurant.
694 Town Center Drive, City Center, Newport News. It's just been an honor, man, hang out with you guys. It's been a blast. The restaurant's rocking in world right now. 1 year anniversary party is coming up next month, November 8th. And we're just looking forward to what's next. You know, I think we got some expansion plans maybe in the future. As a chef, tell me about it. You had Luce for how many years? 7, 8 before this
10
opened?
years.
10 years before this opened. Did you know after a few years that you wanted to open a second one, or what was it?
I didn't want to open up the second
And this
restaurant.
restaurant is under construction.
Yeah,
They're
we are
outside, not
working
the
on
inside,
something.
the outside.
So I do have the answer to that question is I didn't necessarily want another restaurant. I wanted a bigger experience. I wanted to broaden I wanted more out of myself.
Correct.
So my restaurant Luce was so small that I was starting to get fucking confined.
Yeah.
I was starting to get claustrophobic, meaning metaphorically for my expressing where I wanted to go with my food. I didn't have the equipment I wanted to grow. I was learning more. I was traveling Europe, and I was working with a lot of Michelin chefs, which isn't so much my goal, but a lot of the techniques are. There's a lot of things out there that I want to experiment and experience. So I just couldn't do it in that little place. So it wasn't a matter of me wanting to open up another restaurant. It was a matter of me wanting just a bigger fucking kitchen. And then the opportunity came by people walking through the door like we just spoke about. And when that opportunity came, it was a difference between going from this big to jumping into a fucking huge thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about $1 million operation in time, to a multi-million-dollar startup operation over here. So it was very stressful. It was a huge risk. I did want more, yes.
Okay.
Did I think it was feasible for me to go get another restaurant? No, I didn't at the time.
Yeah.
Now with education, now with timing, I'm ready for 2 or 3 more restaurants because I know how to do it. Of course, there's a break on that. I'm not going to go do that. But
Yeah.
I'm always ready for more. I'm ready for more. So this podcast right here is a good outlet because it kind of feeds into the me wanting what's out there. It allows me to talk to you and feeds that wanting to go out and get more.
Scratch that itch a little bit.
Scratches an itch, exactly. So is there more for me in the future? Absolutely, man. I'm doing a lot of things right now. And with her help on this, it's amazing. With your help being here, with your help being in the community, gives me drive to fucking work harder. You know what I'm saying? When I see a guy chomping at the bit to fucking take that Chef of the Year away from me, and no disrespect,
There's
that's how
eyes on
it
you,
is.
brother.
It's fucking time to roll. It keeps me rolling. And
it.
I wish all the best for everybody. I'm just glad it was my turn.
Yeah.
This is my year. Next year, I want someone else to come up and make it their year.
Yeah.
Because it's already my year. I had my year. So I'm going to continue on doing my best to support the community, support the growth of it, and support the restaurant industry. Because Hampton Roads, man, we got to get on that map of the outside of this area because there's some phenomenal chefs, phenomenal restaurants, and we have a huge food scene here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's that, man.
We're on a mission. That's
So,
what we're doing.
is this the point of the show where we do the
So
read
I
the
see
bad
something.
reviews?
I see you brought your own bad review.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, he's
So-
always reading all these reviews.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I saw him.
I got
because
plenty. Let me
Not
see it.
only,
Yeah, let me
not
see it.
only did he bring merch, but he brought a bad review.
You brought your own
I got
bad
a
review.
review.
Your own
Yeah,
bad
like
reviews. So have you responded to these yet online?
so. My restaurant manager, Mr. Brian, he takes the brunt of that for me because I'm
Okay.
afraid I might actually respond how Tony eloquently does on this podcast.
Tony is
Well, I
not the
respond to them too,
nicest.
as well. Yeah, I don't
he
have time
responds to all of them for the most part. Not
I
as
want to
much
make
anymore.
something really clear, right?
Go.
I am 100% about reviews.
Yeah.
You cannot function without them. There's good ones, a lot of them.
Sure.
We wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be 4.9 or whatever on every fucking platform if we didn't have the good reviews. The bad reviews are just
I'm
as
going to go with
important.
this one.
Yeah.
But when you take a percentage of the bad reviews, there's actually a smaller percent of bad reviews that are actually helpful and useful and something that we can use as a tool to fix.
Sure.
If you listen to every bad review and take it to heart and take emotion on it, you're going to be fucked. Now, when they're literally saying something that you need to pay attention to and it's written out nicely and it's written out plain to see, you need to address that review. That's a truth. However, somebody got mad because you didn't fucking have the horns blowing with the red carpet out because they wanted to bring balloons and we don't allow balloons in here. So now they're going to terrorize your whole fucking
Angry
thing.
about
Ours is
balloons.
confetti. We had confetti
Fuck
recently.
the confetti.
So
I don't
you-
do
no more
confetti, no
fucking
balloons,
confetti.
nothing. You're not
He
ruining-
doesn't even allow a birthday balloon in
No
this
balloons
restaurant.
because listen,
Nothing.
man, we are a white tablecloth restaurant. If I'm sitting here and there's a balloon next to me, that's not my
Like
party.
hitting you in the
Yes.
head.
It's not
Yeah.
my party.
No.
To know what's going on table fucking D5 over there is not everyone else's business. They didn't come here for your party.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I'm glad you did. Okay?
I love it, by the way.
Take
Keep
the
going.
fucking balloons home and do the balloons later, put them in the car. But we're not going to have balloons at table 5 because the people at table 3 might be celebrating a fucking or suffering a funeral.
Sure.
Or a
Yeah.
loss. And
Yeah.
maybe not here for your party. And it's got to be fair across the board. The fucking food is the party, man. The food, the wine, the experience, that's going to take center stage. You know what
You
I'm
want
saying?
the party to be in your mouth.
Amen.
So what do you think?
So look, I was devastated
Everyone's coming.
the first time that we got
There, I
a
was waiting. I
non-5
set it up.
review.
Okay.
Party in your
We
mouth and
had
everyone's
we
coming.
had 50 reviews, right? We were open for like, I don't know, 2 months or something. We had 50 reviews. They were all 5s. And then I thought the world was gonna end the first time I got a
The
non-5
first, it always hurts.
review.
Yes.
And then everyone's like, Chef, did you really think you were gonna go your entire life without, 5?
This is what
And
makes
I
You
was
us
want
like,
to?
so.
You want it that
All
way?
right, so I'll read through this one and
Go,
then you
yeah.
can
We're gonna
respond,
give him- so we're giving
or
him
we'll
the
let
forum?
Tony respond.
No, I'm going to
because-
respond
Oh
to
yeah,
you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
first.
We'll both
Okay,
respond.
you
Oh, yeah.
both respond to Marianne. So Marianne, all right. So Marianne reviews a lot. She left 317 reviews and posted 1,098 photos on Google.
She's a super.
Marianne needs a
She
life.
is a
CEO.
serial reviewer
Yeah.
of everything. Okay, so the restaurant had great IG marketing reel. However, place looks more hip and cleaner in the reel than in person. A total letdown. Service was next to non-existent. Our waitress moonlights as a bartender, so she didn't come back by to check in. She didn't give us a bread basket. We get a whole bread basket.
Goddamn.
We had to literally ask if we can have some after we saw the folks sitting next to us at the end of our table enjoying some. Too bad the champagne butter was promising. Our water wasn't refilled twice. So I don't know what that really means. We asked for separate checks. It took 10 minutes. Then we found out the bills were wrong. I was charged for a Caesar salad. Friend ordered it. Took the waitress another 15 minutes, and there she was tending the bar again. I would give a 1 star. The only saving grace was the shrimp and grits, which was a solid 3.5. The veggies were too chunky, though, not finessed. My friend who ordered scallops says hers were so-so. So food, 3 out of 5. Service, 1 out of 5. Atmosphere, 2 out of 5. So we can break it down as we usually do. So I'm sure the reel looked great. You have great marketing on your Instagram. Good job to your team.
Shout out to those guys.
Shout out to the team. Obviously, that looks good all the time. Service, non-existent. So waitress and bartender, we don't know what night of the week this was, but there are a lot of people who pull several roles in a restaurant. So
it's right there is the problem. The service wasn't existent for her momentary need. But it's obvious the service was existent for somebody because she was doing the wait
doing her
staff
job.
and doing the fucking bartending.
Correct.
So take that with a grain of salt. Plus,
someone
you knew
call
you're
in that
opening up.
night?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is within the first year, so you have to go through your ups and downs. So maybe the bartender wasn't there on time, or maybe that she wasn't there that night, or maybe somebody was doing 2 jobs of one because they had to get through that night.
Maybe
So
all of a sudden there was an influx of people on a Thursday night, and where we
Maybe
usually do
Marianne was
70, we
boring.
did 100, and now,
yeah, so
staffing is an issue.
she was mad with that, and then obviously, you can talk to the food part. So the veggies were chunky and not finessed. I
Yeah.
don't know how much more finessed.
I mean, look,
be.
my style of
There
cuisine
is a picture.
Southern and Asian cuisine.
There's a photo.
That particular dish is meant to be rustic to me,
Yeah.
and that's
I don't know
how
if
I
we can
intend
see
it to
on
come
the
out.
camera.
That's the way you cook it.
So that's
the
how
way
we
you cook
do
it.
it.
So it is
Yeah.
the way you like it, and it looks good to me. So
It
what
looks
I'm saying,
great.
what I think is this, man. You have, it says here right here, too bad the champagne butter was promising. That right there throws my whole. When I do these reviews.
By the way, that white chocolate champagne butter is fucking money.
it's white chocolate
here's the
champagne
thing,
butter.
bro.
It's money.
Okay.
It says too bad it was good. Why is it too bad it was good?
Right.
Why? Why is it too bad it was good? You
Too
mad
bad
that
it was
something was
good.
good because
Because you wanted to give me a 1.
because you want to give it one. So you,
Damn
you know what I
those
mean?
shrimp and butter. That's
So
amazing.
it's too bad. So you're hoping for fucking demise right out the gate.
Yeah.
So there's probably a level of hate going on here, and just understand what it is that this chef is doing, man. If he's got chunks of fucking, that looks good to
It
me.
looks good. So that
Hell
really
yeah.
wasn't the bad part.
The
But
number
for them
2
to give
selling
you
dish on the whole menu, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Of course.
things
The,
happen
the
in a
number
restaurant.
one is the shrimp and grits with no vegetables.
Oh my
Marianne
God.
wants to cheat days.
So yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, we all have to expect time delays. This one is good. So this is
this-
you want me to read? Okay,
This
so
one is great. This
only
one-
because we have to
this
jump on
happened
this really quick.
in
Sorry,
our
we're going
first
over.
Week of
So
being
this was
open.
42
Okay.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
So,
42 weeks ago.
Yeah, Hiawatha Pierce. We're just going to say your name because why not? If
Yeah,
you go
hell
see
yeah.
this show, come at us. That's fine. So I'm just going to jump ahead. My wife called Saturday at 11, made reservations for 5. At 1, we get a call informing her that a reservation was canceled. They were overbooked. We were disappointed. Sometimes that happens. My question to the person who made the reservation was, you had a tablet in front of you. I don't know what your setup is. The manager should have informed you ahead of time. They never tried, whatever. Just tell them we're overbooked. We've been to a lot of higher end restaurants, and if something came up with our reservations, some type of accommodation would have been offered, not at Satè. So we didn't get a chance to go, and now we will never attempt to go again. This is one of the main reasons I don't support black businesses, a lack of professionalism. So that just went all the way there. So we are
say
generalizing.
that?
My blood pressure was
First
through the
of all-
roof.
Did they really say that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that on that the first time. So that is let's just go with the stereotype
Well,
generalization
is this a black
first.
person saying this,
But
at
their
least?
name is Hiawatha, so we're gonna guess.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I
gonna
don't-
guess too.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
let's give them
guess.
at least
Yeah,
that, okay?
yeah,
but
sure.
you're going to call out your own people.
It'd be your own
But-
people. It'd be your own people.
Lord,
But to say this is the reason
people
I
hearing
don't
this in the
support,
back?
I don't support.
are y'all hearing this shit?
So how is the fact that there was possibly some delay in the system, could have been a lot of things going on that you were overbooked?
So I dug a little deeper into this,
Oh,
right? Because
okay.
I really wanted to know.
Oh, you got to know now.
So apparently,
Calling out a whole race.
It was the first week we were
5
open.
o'clock reservation. You people
It's a
suck.
Saturday night, right? And they called to make a
What?
2-top reservation.
Yeah.
And then we put them in. Then she called back to add people to the reservation.
So that's not in the review.
Of course not.
No, it's not.
Why
in
would she
there.
put that in the review?
Oh my
Hell no.
goodness.
Yeah, or whoever. Hiawatha.
Yeah, this is my
That's
wife.
crazy,
Could be
bro.
either. Okay.
So then it became our fault because we weren't accommodating.
because you didn't
Well.
have room for more than the original recipe.
This is
Yes.
why I don't support
This is why
black.
don't
That
read
is
the
fucking
reviews. Don't read the
ridiculous.
reviews.
Let me see that thing again. I gotta read that again myself.
Okay.
Let me see.
That is something.
It's wild out here. It's real.
That is
These,
crazy. Lack of professionalism.
Yeah.
But your words are fucking right on par with
Lack of
professionalism.
professionalism and letting
Oh
you
my
come to the
gosh.
restaurant and then telling you when you got there that we couldn't seat you. That
This
would
is
have been
fucking
professional.
crazy.
Okay.
I love it. Hey, Hiawatha, how'd you go fuck yourself? How's that sound? Hiawatha.
Chef will say it.
Yeah,
All
fuck
right.
you, dude. I like
Wow.
that. Fuck off.
That is
Clown.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
come a
clown.
long way since
it's
then.
Hey, it's
You've come a
2024,
long way
bro.
in a year.
We got that tablet down in
are
now,
you kidding
baby.
me? Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, so
you
the
talking about
tablet
that?
is
You got that
straight.
rock tablet like Moses. You're up there chiseling. The 2 was a 5. Oh no, you chiseled wrong. Come on, man. God damn.
People have no. I mean, well, one, people have no chill, anyways. But they have no
2024,
patience,
people are
and they're
talking
the
that
first people to
nonsense. I didn't
throw
think that
out
was real.
whatever
That's
they
real.
want to say.
Social media really
It is
embodies people. When you have the ability to comment and
warrior.
keyboard, and have no one standing in front of you, you'll say anything.
I mean, you can go read the responses here.
I'm trying to
He's
stand in
pretty
front of him.
direct.
I want to call him out.
We invite him in. We're like, come meet me back. We'll meet you outside in the garage
Shit.
and have a conversation about
Yeah.
it. And I think honestly, there needs to be a little bit more of that. But that's really sad. And that was fun.
Shout out to him though. We're doing 900 covers a week.
Hiawatha,
That's right.
come back.
And we're
Don't come
rolling.
back.
You
Yeah,
know?
come on back, Hiawatha. Give it
Yeah.
another shot. Support. Support. You know what I'm
my
saying?
God.
That's fucking
Support
crazy,
the
man.
best new restaurant of 2024.
Listen to me.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Which
tell you
is
this.
what it is.
We had a great time talking to you, man. This is great. I support black-owned restaurant. I'm telling you what, Hiawatha, you're a punk. That's some bullshit. I don't care if you're black either. I'm calling you out. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That is straight crazy, man. You hear this shit?
Oh my God. All right. Well, that was a fun way to
Brother, I
end
love
the
you, man.
conversation.
You too, bro. Take
I
it easy.
appreciate you, seriously.
Right on. Chef,
you.
take it easy. We'll talk to you
Cheers.
soon.
Right there.
We look forward to doing
amazing.
much more in the future. And as we say,
Here's
ciao
some
for
more
now.
success from
Ciao
the
for now.
Bird Hands perspective, right?
Bird's Hands
you.
Perspective.
Cheers.
Check us
Ciao.
out. Hit subscribe. Give us a fucking follow. Share it. Love it.
Go after
Have no
Hiawatha
fear.
online.
Hiawatha, stay the fuck off the podcast, clown. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.